Automotive journalist Jason Cammisa just cannot stop raving about the Cybertruck. Jason just spent 3 days with the Cybertruck, and here's what he had to say on a podcast.
No one is caught up. No one is even close. Traditional automakers are like a decade behind still. And we
behind
those cars, like Model 3, Model Y, at least a decade, if not more. And we're like, okay, well, the ground is gaining slowly. And he just walloped the entire industry with a passive aggressive PDF, say how to develop a 48-volt vehicle. It's, you can criticize this thing all you want for how it looks and what it means and whether all of this entire thing was necessary. But holy shit, what went into this is like, I would hang myself if I worked for a traditional car company right now, out of sheer embarrassment. Like when they start pulling this thing apart, their mind is going to be blown to the point of like, why do we even come to work every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
a seismic shift.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And the most insane thing you're going to learn today is that its exterior is actually the least outrageous part of Tesla's newest creation.
So here are just a few highlights from his review, and then we will move on to today's Tesla stock news.
The primary beneficiary of the 48-volt system is steer-by-wire. For the very first time ever on a production car, there is no physical connection between the steering wheel and the front wheels. Turn the car on, and now I can steer. Lexus is working on it right now, but no one's had the balls to put it into production until now. The benefits are clear. At higher speeds, the steering slows way down and is normal. At lower speeds, well, it's just one turn lock to lock. Half turn this way, half turn that way. It's wild. The computer interprets your request on where you want to go, and then it decides how much steering front and rear to get you there. I genuinely thought it was going to take a long time to get used to the steering, but no, I'm already there. Look. Your brain remaps how fast it is, and just look at that perfect apex. This is easy.
Every single review that I have watched pretty much says that, yeah, steer-by-wire is definitely better once you get used to it, but in some cases, they do say it's a bit difficult to get used to it, especially in the parking lot at first. In the more time the reviewer has spent with the car, generally, it appears to me, the more excited and the more thrilled they are about the steer-by-wire feature.
By the way, I'm not worried about a failure, and neither should you. Commercial jets have all been fly-by-wire since the 1980s.
I have to admit, that's one thing that I was worried about quite a bit. How safe is it? The wheels are not connected to the steering wheel. Are you gonna crash if there's some sort of a malfunction?
Every car on sale right now is throttled by wire. And the entire industry has been trending towards brake-by-wire for years. Ever heard of a failure? Me neither.
He makes a very good point. I think being afraid of steer-by-wire is like being afraid of getting on the airplane. The fear is understandable, but not logical.
I didn't think it would dent.
It wasn't supposed to, but that's a refrigerator.
Oh,
There's the car. Oh, told you it was bulletproof.
that's the most hooligan thing I've ever done.
This brings us to the exoskeleton, made out of a material Tesla calls HFS, or exactly what you think it is, steel, a custom alloy developed in-house. After a crash test that totals most cars, the Cybertruck would be back on the road with 2 new doors, airbags, and some trim.
You know, I've been thinking about this. How much do you think the insurance will cost for the Cybertruck? It is possible that it is actually going to be incredibly low. That could be a real selling point of the Cybertruck.
Tesla quotes structural rigidity greater than that of a current Porsche 911.
No squeaks or rattles. It's completely silent in here, thanks also to the Gorilla Glass. It drives really well, the suspension is great, makes you wonder why steering wasn't always like this. It's smooth, it's fast as hell, it does everything well.
He's totally in love with the Cybertruck. And now let's cover today's Tesla stock news. Tesla now says that not just the rear-wheel drive Model 3 will lose half of the federal tax credit, but also the Model 3 long-range all-wheel drive trim will also lose half of the credit. Previously, it was just the rear-wheel drive version. Partially, this could be just a trick because we know that from January 1st, Tesla will be able to get that $7,500 off for vehicles that fully qualify for the tax credit off the invoice. You will no longer need to wait until you file your tax returns to get the money back. So therefore, maybe Tesla is maneuvering everything in a way where maybe for just a very short period of time, the rear-wheel drive and the long-range trims indeed will lose part of the $7,500 tax credit. Because think about it, why would you buy a Tesla vehicle right now if you can wait until January and get that discount immediately? However, if that was the case, Tesla would likely do it with the Model Y as well, but we are not hearing that about the Model Y. So it's possible that Tesla is playing some games here, but I don't think it's very likely. This is good news. Tesla employees in Sweden are disappointed by the union. A technician that works for Tesla just spoke about the strike. He says the union statements about Tesla did not reflect the situation at all. If I didn't like my job, if it was as toxic as they describe, I would change this job. Employee said the technician does not support the union's demand for a collective agreement. They believe that the conditions they currently have at Tesla are good. The Tesla employee had previously been a union member for 10 years, but decided to leave shortly before the strike began in October. They said the union did not even ask the company employees to find out whether they were satisfied with their working conditions. Instead, the union simply asked for their demands to be met. Does this sound like an organization that actually cares about its union members, or does it sound more like a mafia-like organization? The union came to us several times but never asked questions about how we were doing. They only asked us to sign and turn away when they received a refusal. And now that Tesla won one of the lawsuits, which enables Tesla to still keep delivering the cars to customers, basically, I think the days for the union's dominance are over. This is likely to drag out for a long time, but the union is going to seriously, severely damage its reputation permanently. There's some shocking data here. These survey participants were asked, how much do you like Toyota cars? How much do you like Honda cars? How much do you like Ford cars, Tesla cars, or Rivian cars? And only 27% of the people said that, yeah, we like Tesla cars, but 60% said they like Toyotas. However, when I look at their data, yeah, it becomes very clear quickly that most people, for example, when it comes to Rivian, have never heard about Rivian, and that's why that number is so strange. To a certain extent, I think that would apply for Tesla as well, but not on such a big scale. And look, even the article itself says perhaps we will see Rivian move in rankings in the future, given most consumers have not heard of them yet and a significant share plan on buying one in the future. Civic Science says that their data shows Republicans are 12 percentage points more likely than Democrats to harbor an unfavorable opinion of the Cybertruck. One might say it's a bit weird because wouldn't you expect conservatives to be more likely to buy pickup trucks? But when you really think about it, it sort of makes sense because usually people that are more conservative, they don't like big change, sudden change, and a Cybertruck, that's a big change. I think these people will come around later. But don't worry about that Cybertruck data. We have some really good European data. The numbers look really promising. Look at these total registrations in Europe so far. And look at the Model 3 deliveries in Europe in the daily reporting countries. This is the current quarter, and this here is the previous quarter. We are obliterating previous quarters. It's not just, oh yeah, we're doing a little bit better here. No. We are annihilating previous quarters with the Model 3 deliveries, specifically Model 3 deliveries compared to previous quarters. So looking at that data, I think it is not clever or smart to say, oh yeah, in China, it is not going to be a success. Are you blind? I understand if you are blinded by the Model 3 success in Europe. Although it is important to point out that the wait times in China for the refreshed Model 3 have not really moved. So that's a fair point to make. But looking at the success in Europe, I feel pretty good about the Model 3. And Troy also agrees that Europe is expected to be a new record in Q4. The data is looking really good so far. We do need to see the numbers in Germany still, and if they are good, together the numbers from the UK, then yeah, the situation is looking pretty good. Here, look at Italy, for example. In Italy, in Q4, we have now delivered more vehicles than in all of Q3. This is largely thanks to the refresh Model 3. Or look at Spain. Spain has pretty much already achieved the best quarter ever with just 2 months. And France and Europe is a very important market for Tesla, and it is doing superbly well. Portugal also, for example, pretty much achieved the best quarter ever so far with just 2 months. So I'm really happy with the numbers that are coming from Europe right now. One of Tesla's executives said, we just revamped the new Model 3 and that was a couple weeks to ramp. I think we are a little better. And we have learned from our production hell days. So basically we are hearing the Model 3 ramp indeed is going smoothly and well. And while from Elon we have heard so much about the Cybertruck being so difficult to ramp, from Lars, we are hearing that maybe it's not going to be all that bad, which would be a huge positive potentially for Tesla. It's possible that Rivian could sue Tesla because Rivian has a patent on a range extender that basically Tesla is going to use for the Cybertruck. Rivian patented this in 2019, so it's not very recent. We know so little about the Tesla range extender for the Cybertruck that it is difficult to comment if Rivian really does have a solid case here or not. However, Tesla does have quite a few patents, so if Rivian decides to sue Tesla, Tesla can probably find something that Rivian accidentally used and sue Rivian back. So while Rivian could potentially sue Tesla here, I think it would be a foolish thing to do because you would be making a big enemy. And Tesla generally allows everyone to use its own patents just as long as they do so in good faith. And when Tesla says you can use our patents in good faith, what Tesla basically means is that if you have patents and we want to use them, let us use them. Here's a quad motor Rivian, which you would think would be faster because it has one more motor than the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck only has 3 motors, and yet the Rivian loses. And it loses really badly too. That was not just a small victory, that was a huge victory for Cybertruck, an easy victory. And Cybertruck has by far the best ground clearance, not just by a little bit, but generally speaking compared to some of the big names. It's a huge difference. This is possibly a pretty good indication that FSD 12 is indeed coming relatively soon, because Elon does not usually post things like this to his main timeline. This got 6.7 million views. That's a lot. Tesla has by far the best real-world AI, he says. And we did see FSD version 12 actually already go out to Tesla's employees. So it is certainly coming. Elon just keeps surprising me. The moment you think that you figured Elon out, he does something to surprise you again. Elon says that SpaceX launches competitor satellite systems without favor to its own satellites. Fair and square. We know that Elon does not like Jeff Bezos, and yet Amazon has signed a contract with SpaceX for 3 Falcon 9 launches to support deployment plans for Project Kuiper, Amazon's low Earth orbit satellite broadband network. My respect for Elon Musk has gone up even more just now. What a human. Ford F-150 Lightning breaks monthly sales record, doubling in November compared to the previous year. Ford sold 4,400 pickup trucks compared to 3,700 in October. But Ford started offering incentives of up to $15,000 off for the Lightning in October, so yeah, you would expect the sales to be up. It's also important to note that Ford's initial plans call for Lightning production to hit 150,000 by mid-2023, so that would be about 12,500 per month, and they are only at what, a little bit over 4,000 per month? So that does not sound exactly great.
This is Wes, he's one of the engineers. Hi Wes.
Hi.
How would you feel if I kicked your car?
It's fine.
Now normally if you kick someone's car, they wouldn't be particularly happy, but watch this. This is just stupid. Sam does MMA. Come on, Sam, do some kind of karate kick on it. Quick, go on, kick it. Go on, kick it like you mean it. Just look at that. It's all fine. Just brush it off. Look at that.
All they did was just clean the Cybertruck.
So right now on our V3 superchargers, they only go up 250 kilowatts, but on our V4 ones that just started rolling out, you get 350 kilowatts, so this will take all of it and it'll charge super fast.
350?
Yeah.
Wow, so that will charge in, I mean, I know we shouldn't think 0 to 100, we should think 20 to 80.
15 to 80.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But that'll take 10, 15 minutes, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. It's about 18 to 20 minutes from 15 to 85.
Unless I am stopping to eat, about 15 minutes I feel is a really good length for a quick break. More than that, over 20 minutes, I am starting to be a little bit not really happy with my charging time, but this is 18 to 20 minutes, so that seems pretty good to me.
The trick in engineering was how do you take the strength that's there and incorporate it into the needs you have for the vehicle. This sail panel, which goes from the C-pillar back out to the rear, it adds like 25% of the torsional stiffness of the vehicle. The torsional stiffness of a Cybertruck is like 45 kilonewton meters per degree. That's supercar level. You know, you drive a F-150, it's like 10 or 15. It's all wobbly, but then when you drive it, that stiffness that we got from the exterior structure makes the car, the truck, feel like a car. Because it is just a scratch finish, depending on how deep you go or whatever, you just get some Scotch-Brite,
buff it out.
buff it out.
Yeah, you know, all the other pickup trucks that we were looking at, the toughness is built like in the frame and the chassis, but the most exposed part, the paint, is the most delicate.
Drives like a car, but is actually a tank. I'm also a very practical guy, so not having to worry about scratches is actually a big selling point to me. Not a long time ago, I did a renovation for one of the properties, and my contractor had a really nice pickup truck. I mean, inside felt like you're in an office, in a very nice office, but he used it as a work truck, and he didn't seem happy about any potential scratches. To me, using a regular pickup truck as a work truck feels a bit like wearing a suit and doing construction work. It's silly.
This is the area I was prepared for this thing to fall down. They'd put all the engineering effort into the stainless steel exoskeleton, into making it manufacturable, and then maybe they'd forget about the chassis dynamics. But honestly, this is where I've been proved wrong. This is where the big surprise has come today on this road, where actually it's not just rudely fast to drive around on a windy B road like this, but it's actually good fun. And that's all down to body control, the acceleration, and just the way that it reacts to your inputs. It doesn't feel like a truck. It feels like a car.
I am yet to find one person that says that, yeah, the Cybertruck actually drives like a pickup truck in a bad way. No, they all say, yeah, it drives like a car, sort of. And the more of these reviews I watched, the more I think that the moment I actually get to test drive a Cybertruck, whatever I think about the Cybertruck now is just going to be elevated to the next level and make me think, oh, it's actually even better than that.
For me, it's wonderful to have a boss, especially at the CEO level, that understands physics and engineering, because I don't have to like dumb it down or water it down. We just talk like engineers about this is why I can do this, these are the limitations, and I've said it before, but like we go to the limits of physics and chemistry and that's it. Anything above that is not allowed. Anything below that is not what Tesla does.
I realized you didn't mention cost there. Like, it seems Teslas should be affordable and for everyone, right? But you're not really taking into account cost at the expense of the overall dream, right?
Yeah, cost is in every element of what we do, and I think it comes here a lot of times in integration and deletion. So some of the stuff we're talking up front on the aero fits, where you're not adding bits on, every bit you add on, that's $1, $2, $3. And so I really, on my team, and especially with you guys, we try to break Conway's law all the time, because you can't tell who designed what and where one part ends. And when you get that integration, you delete those parts, you just end up with less costly
Elon always says the best part is no part.
Yeah.
And so we really adhere to that.
That's one big reason why Tesla overall as a company is so efficient, because Elon can look at all of the engineering details and talk about all of the little intricacies with actual engineers, and the engineers, they cannot fool Elon. He understands exactly what is going on. The engineers also, as a result, respect Elon a lot more. And perhaps most importantly, the engineers cannot tell Elon, oh, it cannot be done, because Elon will then look at them and say, I'm an engineer. It can be done. I know it can be done. Go and get it done. But someone like Mary Barra, for example, can she say that? If the engineer says it cannot be done, then, well, I guess it cannot be done.
At lower speeds, the rear wheels turn anti-phase, and what that does is tighten up your turning radius. So this car, despite its size, actually has the same turning radius as a Model S. Somewhere between 40 and 50 miles an hour is the transition point. Then the rear wheels actually turn in phase with the front tires to give you added stability when you're doing quick lane changes. Turning around, don't need to take my hands off the wheel. Hopefully I don't crash into that lamppost. Just avoided that parked car and we're back straight. Pretty impressive.
One reason why I don't like driving big cars is because of the poor turning radius, but that's not going to be the case at all with the Cybertruck. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe right now. Actually, liking the videos is super important for the YouTube algorithm, so I really appreciate when all of you guys do that. My name is Matt Posius, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching.